coordinator of Philosophy Family. Since this week we could not arrange the speakers, in the last minute, Dr. Maharana agreed to deliver a talk under the title Matter and Spirit with reference to the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. I thank Dr. Maharana for this. Well, Dr. Maharana is practically connected with the life and philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. He is practically connected with the various activities in the Aurobindo ashram. He visits even Auroville and Pondicherry for various activities whenever he finds time, and also he dedicates some of his time in the Aurobindo ashram at his own place, Ballugaon. So he is not just theoretically connected with the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo; he is practically connected. So this being so, we can not only just have a theoretical side, a theoretical understanding of Aurobindo, but also we would have a practical exposure of Dr. Maharana to the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. So this evening, I think we'll be having a great time with Dr. Maharana expressing his ideas on the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. So I thank him for this. I also thank Dr. Ranjit Ghosh sir, Dr. Radhanath Bera sir, Shravani Mishra madam, and all others, Professor Dr. Pramod Das sir for attending this, and all others who are attending this webinar of Philosophy Family. As we all know that Dr. Maharana is academically connected even in the activities of his college. He invites people from various parts of Odisha, and also whenever time permits, he also calls people from the other parts of India to his college to deliver lectures on various issues. So he is always connected, a busy man as far as academics is concerned, as far as seminars are concerned. He also has delivered a number of talks in Philosophy Family. I remember at least 4 to 5 talks he has delivered. Okay, maybe more. But he is a regular coordinator of Philosophy Family. So with these words, I thank Dr. Maharana, and I think we'll have a very nice evening listening to Dr. Maharana on the title Matter and Spirit with reference to Sri Aurobindo. So I welcome all professors present here, and I hope we'll be even having a very good discussion afterwards. So I also congratulate on this evening and this evening on the platform of Philosophy Family that our admin Professor Pramod Kumar Das got awarded the doctoral degree with from Gangadhar Mehr University a couple of days back. So it's a good time in Philosophy Family. So good going. And with these words, I request Dr. Kailash Maharana to commence his speech. So with a lot of hope and a lot of uh, enthusiasm, with a lot of expectations from Dr. Maharana. Okay, and a good discussion to follow thereafter. Let us all move to Dr. Maharana for the lecture. Namaskar, sir. Please.
नमस्कार. ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरविंदाय. ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरविंदाय. ओम नमो भगवते श्री अरविंदाय. I extend a hearty welcome to all of you for attending this beautiful academic platform of Philosophy Family. I bow down before Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir, Professor Radhanath Behra sir, and all others to be with us in this Sunday webinar. I extend my congratulations to our friend Dr. Pramod Kumar Das for being awarded with PhD degree within a short span of time. And with this, once again, I extend my gratitude to all of you. This morning, Dr. Pramod Kumar Das requested to have a talk this Sunday webinar. But as I was in Bhubaneswar, at first I said that it is not possible in my part to attend the program because I'm in Bhubaneswar and the program will be completed by 2 or 3, I don't know. When he said that you can speak on the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, then I certainly agreed that if I reach in time, then I can speak something on the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. So my best wishes to Professor Pramod Kumar Das for requesting me to speak a few words on the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. And it is very difficult to speak a couple of words in Sri Aurobindo. And today the topic is matter and spirit. In Savitri, Sri Aurobindo has written that spirit is the crown of the universal existence and matter is its basis. Mind is the link between matter and spirit. I think this is the uh, this contains the entire philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. And in Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, mind and matter, they are its workings. Spirit is that which is concealed and has to be revealed. And mind and body are the means by which the spirit is to be revealed. Spirit is the image of the Lord, of the yoga, and it is the it is the crown of everything that Sri Aurobindo has told. And if you study the books of Sri Aurobindo, then you can find that how Sri Aurobindo has made a beautiful synthesis of matter and spirit. And I think Sri Aurobindo is the first philosopher who has given much emphasis on matter because, according to him, matter reveals the spirit. In the world, people generally classify themselves as materialists, those who believe in nothing other than matter. For them, matter is important for them. And those are spiritualists, they reject matter in order to learn, um, in order to learn that spirit is everything. And for them, spirit alone is real. Sri Aurobindo, is neither a materialist and not a spiritualist. He admits both the matter and spirit. For Sri Aurobindo, matter has to be transformed and matter is to be transformed. Matter will be divinized by spirit. And matter is capable of expressing the truth instead of constantly denying it. This is what Sri Aurobindo and the mother has given importance in their writings. And you know that Sri Aurobindo is an idealist of an ancient Indian type. For Sri Aurobindo, matter is important, spirit is also important. Sri Aurobindo refused to accept materialistic view of reality and he rejected any ascetic approach of knowing the real. philosophy, according to Sri Aurobindo, cannot ignore the claims of either the materialists or the spiritualists. For him, both the idealists and materialists are one sided as both ignore the other aspect of the reality. You know, a spiritualistic philosopher seems to deny the reality of matter, and a materialistic philosopher denies the reality of the spirit. And the extreme view of both are one sided. But Sri Aurobindo's view of reality may, may be described as a synthesis of both materialism and spiritualism, since for him, reality contains the two aspects. Hence, for Sri Aurobindo, both matter and spirit are different forms of existence. Matter is said to be the lowest form of existence, and spirit is said to be the highest form of existence. Matter is nothing but the expression of the spirit. Hence, the Upanishad proclaims Sarvam Khaludam Brahman. Matter is Brahman. It implies that Sri Aurobindo's view on the reality is integral and comprehensive. And in the entire philosophy of Sri Aurobindo and the books that Sri Aurobindo has written and the books that Mother has written, you can find the same thing that is in his integral yoga. And in Sri Aurobindo's view, matter and spirit don't appear as opposites. They don't appear as the opposite poles of the reality. They are not separated from each other. Both are integral to each other. Matter is integral to spirit, and spirit is also integral to matter. Sri Aurobindo contends that both the materialism and spiritualism, they have done much harm to humanity, and by accepting the one-sided view, Sri Aurobindo has not done that. Sri Aurobindo has made a beautiful synthesis of both the Egypts. You know, materialism upholds the view that matter is the basic ontological reality. It asserts that life, mind, etc., are nothing but byproducts of matter. Materialism regards sense experience as means of valid knowledge. Further, it also assumes that everything which does not come under the realm of sense perception cannot be regarded as real. Sri Aurobindo holds that this is purely a one sided view. In his view, subjective standpoint of human existence is completely ignored in the philosophy of materialism. It is certain that objects have value only when they are related to the subject. The objective and subjective view, they are closely interlinked, so that one cannot be comprehended without the other. For Sri Aurobindo, matter cannot be thought up without a spirit, and spirit cannot be thought up without the matter. So, for Sri Aurobindo, the subjectivity and objectivity are not independent entities. They depend upon each other. For Sri Aurobindo, both the objective and subjective are the two essential aspects of the manifest reality. They carry equal value. So, Sri Aurobindo says that idealism by itself is one sided. The spiritualist is emphatic in his denial of material at the materialistic at the materialist is in his rejection of the spiritual. To Sri Aurobindo, if the materialist is justified from his point of view in insisting on matter as reality, so also the sannyasin is justified from his point of view for insisting on pure spirit as reality. The sannyasins claim to have direct knowledge of the suprasensible relation. They think that higher consciousness is capable of giving more certain knowledge than senses. Sri Aurobindo says that his knowledge leads to the ascetic to deny the reality of the materialistic world. The Advaita Vedanta, the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, namely Shankar, comes to discover Brahman as the only reality with the view that world is false, which is described as cosmic illusion or Brahman. This view in the eyes of Sri Aurobindo is one-sided. For him, if reality is spiritual, then even matter is spiritual. Their rejection of matter is evidently fallacious. The material cannot be completely false, even if it has to be spiritualized. It can be given the same status and the reality. For Sri Aurobindo, the ancient Indian philosophy, the Vedanta, has committed this mistake. It forgets that every evolution must have a corresponding involution. That I will speak later. Sri Aurobindo therefore says in his integral yoga, and Sri Aurobindo has given equal emphasis both to spirit and matter. Matter and spirit for him are two aspects of the same reality. They are only different forms of consciousness. Both are real. So, if you look at the entire philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, and if you have read the books of the mother, then you can find this synthesis of matter and spirit in almost all the books. And the fundamental idea upon which the whole structure of Sri Aurobindo's philosophy rests upon is that matter as well as spirit, they are looked upon as real. Matter is real and spirit is real. It will not do, therefore, for philosophy to ignore matter, as it will not do for to ignore spirit. So, matter cannot be ignored and spirit cannot be ignored in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. A spiritualistic philosophy that we have discussed, a spiritualistic philosophy that negates matter as one-sided, and as a materialistic philosophy, the philosophy ignores spirit. The two extremes, therefore, which philosophy must avoid, that Sri Aurobindo has not done. For this reason, Sri Aurobindo declares affirmation of the divine life upon earth and an immortal sense, immortal existence can have no base unless we recognize not only eternal spirit as the inhabitant of this bodily manifestation, but Sri Aurobindo has also accepted matter of which it is made. And Sri Aurobindo has derived different mantras from Upanishads and Oja in order to justify it. Sri Aurobindo has quoted Upanishad ki view that matter is also Brahman. The inevitable result of separating matter from spirit, as Sri Aurobindo points out, to force us to make a choice between the two. This is, in fact, what we actually notice in the history of human thought. Either spirit has been denied as an illusion of the imagination, or matter has been denied as an illusion of the senses. That we have pointed out some minutes before. Sri Aurobindo has minutely observed, minutely studied both the philosophies, both the views. He has studied the Western philosophy, he has minutely studied the Eastern philosophers. So both the philosophies, they have their impact on Sri Aurobindo, but Sri Aurobindo has his own view. He has his own observation. He has his own perspective. And his perspective may be called as integral perspective. Sri Aurobindo says that the materialist deny the spirit and the spiritualist deny matter. And it is obvious, as we have said, that they have their one sided view. And Sri Aurobindo has observed that there is no possibility of denying the creative function of mind and the still the higher powers of the spirit in shaping of her knowledge. So, in our knowledge, for our knowledge, both have their importance. Both have their, both have influenced us, and there are a vast field which are inaccessible to the senses, and even in the regions where the senses function, the knowledge that is obtained is not tied down to the senses. So all the knowledge exhibits a transcendence of the senses, a reconstruction of the senses material by the mind and the higher powers of the spirit. Both the materialism and the spiritualism have their own perspective, have their own looking at their things. Sri Aurobindo is very clear. His stand is very clear on this aspect. The one-sided affirmation of the spirit and the one-sided affirmation of matter has not been accepted by Sri Aurobindo. For this, Sri Aurobindo's view is different from others. Sri Aurobindo's view is never called as one-sided. It takes into the account of two processes in his philosophy, in the world process. So in the world process, he finds two aspects, the aspect of ascent and the aspect of descent. And the entire evolution from matter to spirit, they obey the two aspects. The aspect of that without the aspect of descent,
Kailash sir,
Hello, hello, hello,
yes,
hello.
audible
Am I
sir,
audible? Am I audible?
audible sir,
Good,
audible.
good, good. Thank you, thank you. So, the aspect of descent and the aspect of ascent has been clearly given in Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. So, for Sri Aurobindo, no descent is possible without ascent, and no ascent is possible without descent. And there cannot be the ascent of the world into the spirit without descent. So, to this, Sri Aurobindo has told that spirit has descended into the world, and to that every extent it is possible for the world to ascend into spirit. So, there's the descent of the spirit even into matter, and it gets a new form. It gets its original form. So, matter is spirit, and it is the spirituality is hidden in matter, and the descent makes it possible. That is why matter seeks to evolve into something higher than matter, because, and that is, you may call that the life. And because of the descent, that is, the matter becomes life. There's a descent of the spirit into life, then it takes the form of the mind. And similarly, there's the descent of the spirit into mind, then mind takes the form of the higher than itself, that is supermind. So the ascending process does not stop with the supermind. Some may argue that supermind, that is the objective, the target of Sri Aurobindo's, it the final objective of Sri Aurobindo to reach at the supermind. But Sri Aurobindo has said that the ascending process does not stop with the supermind, but continues till the absolute spirit or Sachidananda is reached. So Sri Aurobindo has given his clear objective, clear vision, that is in process of descending and the process of ascending. The descending process is called involution, that you all know, because I know that most of the audience of today, so webinar, they are very much connected with the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, and they are also connected with the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, that is evolution and involution. So the descending process is called involution, and the ascending process is called evolution. Everywhere there is evolution and involution in this world that Sri Aurobindo visualized. Everywhere evolution is conditioned by involution. The evolution of matter is possible only because there is an involution of spirit into matter. So if there is no spirit, if there is no involution of a spirit into matter, then evolution is not possible. So had there not been a deposit of the spirit in matter, the latter could not have evolved. That is why it is necessary to look upon matter as spiritual. So matter in its original form is spiritual, and the matter has to go into its original form when it is divinized. So matter has to be divinized, and the process of involution and evolution makes the matter into spirit. That is why the one-sided spiritual view, which totally ignores matter. So matter is so fundamental wrong because the matter will be spiritualized and the spirit is evolved from the matter. And you cannot talk up the evolution and yet deny the spiritual element in matter. And with matter, so it is with life, soul, and mind. So it can matter will be transferred into life, life will be transformed into soul, soul into mind, mind into supermind. And there cannot be any talk of the upward movement unless there is the downward movement. So ascent without descent and evolution without involution is unthinkable in Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. You may take the view of a Vedantist, you may take the view of different philosophers, and you know it very clear that how the different views reject the other view. But Sri Aurobindo has not ignored everything. Sri Aurobindo is a philosopher who accepted everything. Even if in yogic life, Sri Aurobindo accepts everything and he had not ignored anything. So in his philosophy, he accepted both the evolution and involution, the descent and ascent in order to make matter to be spiritualized. Evolution reproduces the reverse order, and involution you can think of in the same way. And in order of involution, as Sri Aurobindo has given, you can go on in this way that from matter, life is transformed, from life, psyche, and from psyche, the mind, and then and continues. So, in order of evolution, matter, life, psyche, mind, supermind, bliss, consciousness, force, existence. So all will come, all will be transformed. So the knot between the higher and the lower, you can think of the matter and spirit is very important. How to connect that? How to connect the matter with spirit? And the Sri Aurobindo has given different paths that how matter is to be divinized, how the material aspects of a human being can be spiritualized, how our life, mind can be spiritualized. In his interior logo, the mother has given different paths in order to attain the it in order to attain the spiritualized life, divinized life. So Sri Aurobindo is a very genius philosopher, is a true philosopher, and he has realized it in his life, and he has to make a transition from matter to spirit, and the spirit is truly to be the supreme principle. There is no escape from the position that matter also be spiritual. To spiritualize the matter and to spiritualize the matter, you must accept his philosophy, and therefore the task is from that each task is not to escape from matter, Sri Aurobindo says that the time has now come that human being can be spiritualized. He has given different examples. He has he's a practical example of the transformation of matter to spirit. Sri Aurobindo has said that when evolution must take a leap into the next higher stage, namely supermind, then this leap is taken, and there is a transformation of the whole world. And Sri Aurobindo has visualized one day the entire world will be transformed. And the transformation of the whole world is possible. It is not a dream. It is not a mere vision. It will be one day, it will happen. So here comes the meeting of philosophy and yoga. From the ascent of a mind to supermind, by the descent of the latter into the former, we have a great task. How it will be affected? How it will be affected? How the matter will be spiritualized? Sri Aurobindo has given a connection, a knot that divine. It is possible by divine Shakti. The divine Shakti within us will make it possible. Here, philosophy joins hands with yoga. Sri Aurobindo says that the yoga had the object nothing but transformation of matter to spirit. Sri Aurobindo has said that yoga prepares the field for transformation of matter to spirit. And the, this preparation is possible by integral yoga. And by way of integral yoga, by sadhana, the supramental light descends and one can accept who makes the sadhana. It is possible that the divine may knock at our door. Sri Aurobindo has said that the divine is always knocking at our door. But due to ignorance, we are not aware of it. We are not able to listen the call of the divine. We are not able to listen the the divine the divine call. And because of our ego, because of our ignorance, that is, we are not able to have a real connection, and the matter takes a long time to be spiritualized. Sri Aurobindo has said that yoga enables us to make this transformation possible. And yoga teaches us to open all the doors of her body. It teaches to open the doors of her body, the doors of her life, the doors of her soul and mind to the new light that is coming from above. And this, the time will come for the supramental change. Sri Aurobindo has said that the supramental change is real and it's the thing which which has uh, which has been practiced. Sri Aurobindo has given, has surrendered his entire life, has sacrificed his entire life for us, for this, for this transformation, for making the preparation of human body. And supramental light has descended on his body. And after that, Mother has descended this supramental force in her life in her body, and lastly, she has descended it in this world for the human beings, for the better progress of human beings. And Sri Aurobindo has said that time will come when our ordinary life will the divine life. And the divine life is already working out in time. It is always there. It was there, it is working also, and it will be working throughout the time. And it exists as a necessity. It exists as a potentiality, as the secret of reality of our being. And it will make the impossible into possible. Our destiny is not be confined eternally to our present life. It is the time now to realize it, and the time will come when our present life will be manifested, will be transformed with the sadhana, with the matra shakti, with the divine shakti. So if we study the entire philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, then we can clearly understand how Sri Aurobindo had sacrificed his entire life for making the transformation of matter to spirit and to descend the supramental force and to the earth in order to make the impossible into possible. And Sri Aurobindo has, has practiced it as I have told. That Sri Aurobindo observes that the supramental force is an essential thing, and it is boundless totality, and the whole knowledge must be there, and region must become plastic enough to visualize this force, visualize this supramental light. So today, as I have been given an opportunity to make a to make a transformation, to make a progress from matter to spirit, and to give a clarification of what Sri Aurobindo has told on matter and what Sri Aurobindo has told on spirit, and how he has not seen any contradiction between the matter and spirit, that I have tried to reflect it in this short span of time, because I had no time to ponder about this issue. And Sri Aurobindo observes Sri Aurobindo is said to be also the monastic philosopher, and he said that the true Advaita is that which admits all the things, which admits the matter and spirit. He had not ignored anything. He had not rejected anything. And for him, the whole universe is the expression, is the self-expression that is of the infinite, of the supreme reality. And the matter has all the possibilities to be transformed to the status of the spirit. The process of rising or ascent of the matter to the level of spirit is known in the process of evolution that we have discussed. There's also the descent tested in this material world that Sri Aurobindo calls involution that we have also discussed. So the order of the evolution, hello, 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 am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Hello, hello,
Yes, yes, you are
hello.
audible.
Yes,
Continue.
yes. Thank you, thank you. So for Sri Aurobindo, I am going to complete. So for Sri Aurobindo, the evolution first occurs in the matter, and matter is the explicit manifestation of the element of Sat Chit Anand, and matter is the essentially consciousness of which has fallen asleep, and we have we have discussed everything, and in Sri Aurobindo's thought, matter enjoys a chronological priority. And this much that I wanted to say that how in Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, matter is given much more importance than any other philosophers. And in Sri Aurobindo's thought, matter enjoys the chronological priority. That I wanted to say. Thanks so much for listening my talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Marana. Well, it was a very good lecture. Well, now we'll have discussion on this. To start with, I'll have my own views later on, but to start with, let us move to Dr. Ranjit Ghosh to open up with his observations, comments, and queries. Let us move to Professor Ranjit Ghosh with his views. Well, Professor Ghosh, you there? Yes, Ranjit sir, please.
Thank you, Dr.
Namaskar,
Rao.
please.
Um Dr. Maharana has given a clear exposition of Aurobindo's views on matter and spirit. Now, if we directly go to the background of Aurobindo's philosophy, then we find that Aurobindo was a believer in the organic view of the society. He believed that the whole comes to the parts, a whole comes to the parts, and the parts go to the whole. So this belief he imbibed from the evolutionist like Bergson, Whitehead, Hartshorne. So all these philosophers have influenced him to propound a philosophy like this. And obviously, he was very much enamored by the views of the Upanishads and Vedanta. So he has given us an integral Vedanta, we should say. So in that way, how he establishes this? Now, Aurobindo says that reality is not dichotomized. It is dipolar. That means there are two poles of reality, that is matter and spirit. So matter is something which is directly descended from the absolute. And then that matter goes into the spirit, and the spirit gradually tries to, through the process of evolution, goes to the higher and higher, and that is how the ascendance takes place. From the descendants of absolute into the matter, and from matter to the life, and from life to the spirit. And then the spirit starts its gradual ascending process. And in the process, it again goes back to the same absolute spirit. So this is how we find the discussion of spirit in such a way that Aurobindo says at one instance that you try to enlarge the spirit, and after enlarging the spirit, you then heighten it, and then after heightening, you then try to integrate it. So that is how the synthesis of mind and spirit will be there in the life of every individual. We just cannot make a distinction, bipolar distinction between mind and matter, but a dipolar. Dipolar means both are given importance, the matter and the spirit. So this, with this background, so what was the aim of Sri Aurobindo? His aim was was to reach from how one can reach from man to a superman. So that is how the ascending spirit about which he talks about is this, that also here we can bring a distinction between Nietzsche and Aurobindo, because Aurobindo's Superman is not egotist. It is just he tries to surrender himself before the Shiva, and in the process, the spiritual realization in man will take place, and this is how we get a holistic view in Aurobindo's philosophy about the Superman. Now, this is such a philosophy, as whenever I have thought over it, then I don't find any type of inconsistencies, because he is not only trying to bring the Western evolutionists, he also trying to bring Vedanta and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and other Upanishads into his views on this holistic approach of man. I think this much observation will do, and Professor Maharana will enlighten us further because he is working on Aurobindo. Thank you.
Thanks so much, sir, for you have beautifully summarized it, and you have given the synthetic approach of Sri Aurobindo philosophy, and you have given a short note on Sri Aurobindo philosophy within a short span of time. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, thank you, Professor Bose, for your comments. Well, um, well, let's move to Radhanath, sir. Well, he is connected with us. If he has something in store for all of us, I welcome him. Radhanath, sir. Okay, he's there. Let's have with us even Avinash, sir. He joined late, but
Yeah.
still we can have something from him. Well, Radhanath, sir, please.
I could not listen to him. How can I
Yes,
speak on that?
okay. Now we're moving to Radhanath, sir. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Rao. Thank you, Dr. Kailash Moharana. It's just a question of matter transforming into spirit or spirit descending into matter, whatever the case may be. It is beautifully portrayed by Dr. Kailash Moharana. As a student of science, not related perhaps to this type of rigorous philosophy, I may simply say, as a devotee of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, I have a sort of passing information about his philosophy. I have really started now reading Sri Aurobindo over again. I am devoted to the philosophy, the culture of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa and his imperious disciple, Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was the forerunner of Sri Aurobindo. And in fact, In his dreams, Swami Vivekananda discussed the yogic philosophy with Sri Aurobindo when he was lodged in Alipur jail for about a year. The spirit of Swami Vivekananda came for about a fortnight, discussed many intricate problems of philosophy or theology, and advised Sri Aurobindo to take up his own course of action according to his own light. So, in a sense, Swami Vivekananda was not the collaborator nor the guru of Sri Aurobindo, but Sri Aurobindo was deeply influenced by the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Coming to the topic now, Sri Aurobindo perhaps led a peculiar life, or rather two lives. One, as a student in England, he was deeply involved in learning and teaching English, Latin, German, Greek. But within the heart of hearts, he had an endearing love for the motherland, India, always thinking of how to extricate India from the political bosses of the day. Second, he came back to India, joined as a teacher at the Baroda College, but then the flaming spirit of patriotism went on burning brighter and brighter, came back to his homeland, Bengal. He was involved in a sort of conspiracy to dethrone the government of the day. But unfortunately, his brother was sentenced to death along with another revolution. But Sri Aurobindo was given a clean chit, not guilty. So, a revolutionary, a burning patriot, turning himself into a passive resistance, or a man with resistance of passivity, and then turning himself into a silent saint, it is a miracle. So he led two lives. Outwardly, he was a revolutionary, a patriot, a man of intense zeal to overthrow the foreign ruler, but deep within, he had a golden heart to descend the supermind into the level of the denizens of the entire world. When once he was asked whether the rishis of the past had tried in such an adventure as to descend the supermind or something like that into our life, yes, he agreed. The rishis of the past, the seers, were no ordinary human beings. They were a combination of both purity and enlightenment. They tried, or perhaps succeeded, but we were not prepared to retain them. So, Sri Aurobindo, throughout his life, he, he was a revolutionary at heart. He wanted to show something to the world, for which he came to the world. And one interesting part was he was a married man, but then the conjugal life did not satisfy him. He left for Pondicherry, leaving his wife behind. But ironically, when the wife was given a clean chit to go to Pondicherry and to live with the husband, she suffered and passed away. So, in a sense, the connection with the real world or the practical world was cut asunder before Sri Aurobindo joined the yogic practice at Pondicherry. Now look at this firebrand. From 1920 to 1950, that is till his Mahasamadhi. For 30 years, he lived in a single room, comparable to the greatest rishis of the past, living in caves, unmindful of the bodily comfort, but mind soaring higher and higher up to the absolute level of God. So, Sri Aurobindo can be thought of as a yogic practitioner. And so when his mother joined him at Pondicherry, she took the charge of the household course at the ashram from 1925 onwards. And Sri Aurobindo again became free enough to go about his intense practice of spirituality. What did he achieve, which others could not? In a sense, it was his integral yoga. We had our main four yogas. Attempt anyone, you can reach the Godhead. But Sri Aurobindo declared none of this, karma, jnana, raja yoga, etc., bhakti yoga included, is sufficient to ascend a man to the supermind. It has to be a different one, a different yoga consistent with the ascendance of mm, super human mind to the divinity. And it is his fifth yoga, the integral yoga. Integral because it is a combination of all the four major yogas. So we have a tool now, the integral yoga. We have now a philosophy before us to reach the absolute, Satchit Ananda. And through intense practice, it is possible. As Dr. Moharana well defined, the involutionary process is reaching the Godhead. I mean, evolutionary process is to reach the Godhead, and involutionary process is descent down to the level of human being. Human being is a process, it is a picture of spirit transforming itself into matter, and God we can define as the supernatural being starting from the human mind, passing through various stages of light, mind, and so on, till we reach the pinnacle of our success. So this way, Sri Aurobindo was successful in saying that what the uh, English biologist said, Charles Darwin, that human life is always in the process of a change, always in flux, from the insignificant jelly to the man we find it is a great evolutionary process. We are evolving ourselves, transforming ourselves from a negligible organism to the highest, so far highest organism called man. Is man the supreme being? Is it the last stage of the evolutionary process? Darwin was silent because he was a biologist. He could not see beyond his nose. But philosophers or the Indian saints could easily visualize there is a process, there is a stage beyond this human level. And it was to the credit of Sri Aurobindo and the collaborator, the mother, to visualize that it is not the end of the process. Human being has to transform itself to the level of divinity. How can that be done? It is through integral yoga. Therefore, the best thing is mind, as you understand, is somewhere between matter and spirit, but the mind is all pervasive. It exists. And consciousness is the very seat of mind. Therefore, when you think of what is consciousness is never plural. It is always a singular term. It is the only thing that separates man from animal. There are many differences between man and animal, but consciousness an elementary man can become a divinely ordained saint. Therefore, increase your consciousness. What is matter? It is also spirit, but a very low form of spirit, said Swami Vivekananda. As the degree of spirit increases, matter is automatically transformed into spirit. So that was another way of looking at this topic. But the best thing is matter and mind. A Nobel Prize winner scientist, rather a physicist, Edwin Schrodinger wrote a book. Apart from his deep study about quantum mechanics in the early part of the last century, he delved much of his attention into the Indian philosophy, particularly about the Upanishad, its relation between matter and mind, and so on. He wrote an excellent book that became an epic not only for popular scientists but for deep scholars in microbiology. The book name of the book was What is Life? Life, as you understand, is just a combination of matter and spirit. But as long as matter exists, body lasts, we are alive. As soon as that light is out, we are dead. So he wrote brilliantly, and Upanishad or the ideas of Upanishad gave him the hint that body is not absolute. It is subject to growth, decay, and destruction. But spirit is ever free, ever resplendent, ever shining, and it can reach beyond our imagination. So long as spirit is there, we are spiritual, but then we cannot ignore matter. Sri Aurobindo rightly said, matter, our life has to be an agglomeration of matter and spirit, body and thought, and body is the vehicle through which grand thoughts can be inculcated. By passing, it is attributed to Adi Shankaracharya that he was an idealist, a non-dualist, and a non-believer of matter. Well, while traveling throughout India, he came across, he stumbled on a stone and it gave him intense pain. A disciple who was with him just put a question. Gurudev, you only said it is an idea, it is not matter. Body is an idea. So how do you now react to it when you have stumbled against a small rock or a stone? He said, yes, I now agree that body is a painful idea. Even when he was hit by the stone, he did not say it is better, it is an idea. And because that gave him pain. It was a painful idea. So this is how body and mind are related. Body and spirit are uh, interconnected. Sri Aurobindo did not think himself to be just a matter, to be a body, but a higher mind, and higher mind is capable of producing another higher mind.
Sir, Radhanath sir,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
sir, we
Please.
shall listen to others too. So,
Okay.
we
Okay.
shall allow others to speak.
I cannot speak longer than this because I have a limited stock of knowledge. So thank you very much
Sir, we shall
uh,
listen to others.
for thank you for
Doc-
relieving me from this painful idea. Thank you.
Dr. Rao, please continue.
Okay. Well, we had a lot of a good message, a very good understanding from Radhanath sir. Well, thank him for his exposition on Sri Aurobindo. Well, we have others. Well, Shravani madam raised a beautiful question in the chat box. When we talk of transformation, and Sri Aurobindo was of much conviction that one day the entire world will be transformed into that divine force. Now, how do you take this? Actually, the entire world transforming into a sort of divine force. So how that is going to occur? So that is the issue that is raised by Shravani madam, and I wish to have some views as to how we can think of a world where everything is transformed, because that is the final destination that we are all trying to arrive in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. So some few words from Dr. Mahan.
Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Rao. It is a very beautiful observation made by Sravani madam, and she has made a beautiful question also. That mm, she has also observed this entire world, and Sri Aurobindo is very conscious that now we all are going through a crisis, an evolutionary crisis, and everywhere it is observed. Everywhere we are facing this crisis. We are facing crisis in the present life, in the family life. We are facing crisis in academic life, in our working life, and we are facing everywhere. And all the people, all the human beings of this world, they are facing this crisis. And you can see that how there are different that is you can see a sort of a disharmony everywhere. So Sri Aurobindo has made a very beautiful observation that by harmony this that is uh, we can maintain the unity of this universe, and it can be spiritualized. How this that's how this world can be spiritualized. How the world can be spiritualized. Sri Aurobindo in his Interior has given the beautiful idea that individual effort is necessary. So if you extend your individual effort in order to be divinized, then the Godhead will come. Then the divine will come to help you. And he has made another thing that it's the collective force or collective um, um, prayer and collective meditation. So the collective force for transforming towards divine can make this way possible. Another path that Sri Aurobindo has shown is harmony. That we have to maintain harmony at any cost, everywhere. Harmony is said to be the natural rule of the spirit, and harmony is a spontaneous consequence of the unity in diversity. So, if in individual life, in social life, in national life, we maintain harmony. We keep harmony. We keep harmony in the words. We keep harmony in action. We make harmony in making any activity in our day-to-day life. Then, then we can see that the divine force will descend. The divine force will descend in our family, in our uh, in our world life, and everywhere we move from, that is the ordinary life, towards any life that we intend. So Sri Aurobindo has given that harmony at any cost. We have to maintain harmony in speech, action, and in our behavior, so that if this is maintained by people, then it can make the it can make the entire world divinized. Thank you so much. And another thing, that the evolution is also going on. If we the human beings are not trying to maintain harmony, if the human beings we cannot maintain the this but if the humans are not trying, then the time will come, evolution will make the world divinized by its own time, and we have to wait for the time, and time is coming in near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Manna. So uh, there is a deep conviction that one day everything turns into spirit. So is this the message? Is this the realization that is coming? That we are transforming and the world is evolving. So both the processes are involved, and one day everything turns into spirit. Is this that we all finally reach the source that we have come from? So this is where the world is evolving. Well, how to look at this? Is it that the entire world will be transformed into the spirit? There would be nothing but the spirit, or there would be something else? Well, this is the question that Sravani Misra has raised. Very beautiful question. So one day, everything. Well, Avinash sir or somebody will. They may come to this position. Well, everything will be transferred. One thing I remember someday. Even I spoke of this on this, which when Sri Aurobindo was asked about the transformation, and was asked by some journalist, "Are you God?" So Sri Aurobindo said in an affirmative sense, "Well, I am God. The only difference, and you too are. I am God, and you too are. The only difference is that I have realized and you didn't. So that is the difference. That is the dividing line. So, so that realization, well, has to pass to the entire creation, so that there is only the spirit that remains and nothing more. So, is this the idea that we can finally take from the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo? Well, I
Dr.
need
Rao,
a clarification on this
Dr.
issue.
Rao, I think Aurobindo believed in
Professor
in the identity of mind and spirit. He never said that they are dichotomy. There is any dichotomy between mind and spirit, but they are one and the same. That is how he is trying to give the oneness of reality, but it's two pillars like matter and spirit. So it is something Advaitin, the interpretation of Advaita Vedanta and Upanishad that we find in Aurobindo, along with this, that this organic view of society, where the whole can come to the part and the parts can go to the whole. This both way thing Aurobindo accepts from the very beginning. And that is how we find that most of the Indian philosophers, starting with Manu downwards, we find they believe in the organic view of the society and life. That is how this type of philosophy can take place. This is my observation. How to react to it, I don't know. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Bose. Well, it's Srivastav, sir. Well, your views on this, because you are in the discussion part. Well, you can have your views as to how to see the position where we have come from a source and we are evolving in the philosophy of, if you take the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, we have come from a source. That is true. So, and there is evolution, and we are moving to something that we don't know. There is a goal. Well, there is a goal attached. If you say the goal is the attaining to the source, again reaching back to the source, you may call that moksha, whatever name, whatever terminology that you may call it. But my query taken from Shravani Misra Madam is, well, is there a chance to realize that the source and the goal are one and the same? So, because we are in the material body, and this material body has to vanish so that the source and the goal become one. So then the Advaitic trend still remains, okay, but I'm not sure how to put my say um, query into words, because this matter, he doesn't reject. Even Aurobindo, he doesn't reject, and it is in the bodily form that we have to have this realization. But then, how this transformation would take us to have a realization that the source and the goal are one and the same. So this is somehow, and towards the end, as Professor Maharana has pointed out, that in everything, the world, the final end of the world is the total transformation of the world. So this is how I also land up in a problem, and people here may discuss so that we can. Well, Professor Ghosh has come up with a view, that organic view, where everything is connected, and we are in the as parts, we are in the whole, and the whole is there in the parts. Okay, so that is the organic view that we can take. But still, any idea from Shravani Madam, because you have raised this question. Let us move to Pramod Das, sir. Well, we can have some views from him also. Professor Das, Professor Dr. Das, because
Am I audible, sir? Am I audible, sir?
You are audible and visible.
Very beautifully said by Dr. Moharana. I really appreciate, and I always appreciate. And he's an exponent of the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. He's reading and he's practicing also the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. Thank you, sir. How can we understand the imperialism? So here we can take the four possible interpretations regarding the status of a matter. What matter can be? One possibility or philosophy is matter is real. This philosophy rejects the idealism that something is beyond matter. That science is also that. Science belongs to this type of interpretation. Matter is real. Another philosophy, that is, matter is not real. Matter is not real. Only ideas are real. Spirit is real. Matter is not real. Matter is appearance. The third possibility is matter is both real and unreal. This is perspectivism. From the perspective of this, matter is real. From the perspective of that, matter is unreal. For example, Paramartha Satta and Vyavaharika Satta. Both Jagat and Brahman are real, but they are real from different perspectives. So, with the benefit of a perspectivism, we can take the status of matter as both real and unreal. And the fourth one is, matter is neither real nor unreal. Nihilism. No description. We can describe the nature of matter. It is neither real nor unreal. Beyond these four possibilities, beyond these four types of philosophical systems, Sri Aurobindo solves this problem, that how exactly matter can be described. There he says, matter and spirit are not two, that is one. And logically, mathematically, we can define what is one, that which cannot be contradicted. satyam abadhitam. So there is no question of these four possibilities. These four questions do not arise because there is neither dualism nor pluralism. That is one. But this is that one is not an abstract one. That is concrete one which includes everything. Therefore, it is integral. The thesis includes the antithesis. The thesis and antithesis are not two. If they would be two, then these four possible questions can be raised. If that is one, these four types of philosophical systems are condemned, rejected. There is no question at all because it is integral. This is the beauty of Sri Aurobindo. Then when I identify myself, who am I, then I can only realize that I am both matter and spirit, having the same essence. So in me, there is a possibility of a transformation from lower mind to higher mind, upper minds, intuitive minds, super minds, etc. That possibility is with me because I have the realization that I am both matter and spirit and I am one. I am integral. This is the beauty of Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, and very well Dr. Moharana explained. Then from that, the evolutionary process comes, descent and ascent. That is also integral in this sense, because something descends, if the content is already there, ascents and descents, they are integral. And in case of the realization, that is also integral, because the same mind is undergoing different changes and transformation. There is no second instrument with us. The same mind is traveling from the different layers of consciousness. On this, sir, I shall submit here something, and Dr. Rao, who are very much serious about this philosophy, and very beautifully Ranjit sir said that somehow or other it is influenced by Advaita philosophy. I agree, totally I agree, because that is the nature of mind. When mind is suffering from dualism or pluralism or dialectics, such questions will arise. Real, unreal, both real and unreal, neither real or unreal. But beyond that, if something is one and integral, if our consciousness is one, concentrated and integral, then such questions will not arise. So now the question is to Professor Ghosh. This is a question from me. Aurobindo speaks of supramental consciousness or the higher stages of consciousness because Aurobindo has reached that level. Therefore, he can say about his philosophy. My question is, myself, being in the state of myself, can have the real, I have genuine understanding or genuine feelings about that state, or that will remain as a mystic point. Whatever is beyond science, if you take science seriously, then all these questions will become mysticism. So there is a gap between different layers of minds. That is my submission. And we are transforming day by day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and beautifully explained, and very beautiful.
I have a story also. I am asking that to Dr. Ranjit sir.
Yes.
Somebody may be a great professor in a big university, but the mind he possesses really in the real life, in this real life situation with my body, mana, buddhi, ahankara, with all my social conditionings, my education, with everything, the mind I am living with, that differs from your mind, his mind, that mind, and mind of the Mahapurusha, like Sri Aurobindo or others. There is a gap. Then the higher philosophy, can the higher philosophy be understood by or realized by the minds of a lower stage? That is my question.
In this connection, I would like to say that uh, it all the answer is in the transcendence. One's transcending one's ego, ahankara, and that is what Aurobindo suggests, that I have to transcend my ahankara, my ego. I have to surrender. And what is the second stage? First, I have to sublimization of my ahankara, and then it will lead to the surrendering to Shiva. He is not bringing God or Ishvara or all Brahman, all these things. Aurobindo is using Shiva. So when I do that, then my mind will become a super mind, and that mind will never claim itself to be super mind, but it can see itself through the transcendence, the process of transcendence. This would be the possible answer that I think, so far as Aurobindo's philosophy is concerned. Thank you.
In one sentence, sir, what you said, in one sentence, we can say what you said now, in one sentence, that this state of understanding, this state of the mind, when mind can ask this question, the question you asked now, that is a state of harmony, that is a state of integralism. In that understanding, there is no dichotomy between matter and spirit. At least this understanding must be there, that they are integral, and that mind should understand the possibilities of four interpretations, as I said, that this can be the interpretation about mind, about matter. But in our real realization, we can realize that actually that is one, and that is integral. Sir, I agree with you, sir.
It
Yes.
is a type of identity, not
Identity, yes.
in the strict logical sense, but a type of spiritual identity that we can say. And it is not, it is definitely different from logical identity. If we
Yes, sir.
when
Yes,
we
sir.
try
Yes,
to
sir.
find
Yes,
out
sir.
the logical identity,
Rightly
we
said,
try
sir.
to
Rightly said.
suppose AI is the identity is established between A and B, then we try to bring out the separate characteristics or of this A and B, which at sometimes diverge, they never converge. So that is why it's a type of spiritual identity. That is what I think will be the right answer. Because you see, prima facie, it appears very simple, the way of arriving at the Aurobindo philosophy. But since he was a great yogi and he had the yogic intuition, so we have to accept this type of the epistemology of Aurobindo, that not only, which is how to make oneself free from the world, and how to make oneself over and above the world. So this is something very difficult to understand. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Das and Professor Bose. Well, one good thing that has come out from this is the understanding that Professor Das has pointed out, and very beautifully he did so. When he said that, well, it has been discussed, but the very line that that he spoke, mind and spirit are one and integral. That is the beautiful line that we can carry. Mind and spirit are one and integral, and the subsequent question about the status of mind that he raised. And we can see in the philosophy of Aurobindo that mind is the connecting thread between the matter and spirit. Well, they're integral, but mind is the connecting thread. The
Sir, sir.
status of your
Good, good.
consciousness, the status of your mind speaks of how do you take the spirit. So that is the thing that maybe Professor Das is pointing out, because the link is more important. The status of the mind, that is more important. So when he said, how do you refer to, how do you understand the status of mind, that the transformed mind, the mind in the state of super conscious mind, how do you take that level of mind? How to take the understanding at that level? So at this level of mind, can we think of that transformation? Well, What I could say is, well, and beautifully, I think Professor Das has come out with the connecting thread, the status of mind, and linking mind and the matter and the spirit, and the level at which we are in the state of mind. There is a possibility of transformation to the level of a super mind, where matter and spirit can be seen as one and only one, and there is no duality as such. So it depends upon the level of transformation that we are in. Maybe we are in the process of transformation to find out that there is, that what is matter is nothing but the spirit, and what is spirit is nothing but the matter. And Sri Aurobindo has realized this when he has reached to that level, that height of consciousness, and we are in the process. So this is how I could gather from the entire discussion that we had. Well, in the meantime, Radhanath sir has raised his hand. Well, he wants to say something. Well, I welcome him.
Sir, Dr. Rao.
Yes, please, sir.
In this connection, I shall speak few lines, then you will allow sir.
Please.
When we are discussing about integralism or oneness, the categories are also same. For example, my understanding is one. At the same time, my perception is also one. My understanding is one. My perception is also one. I can't perceive the duality. My perception is one. My behavior is one. I can't behave with the ideology of dualism. That will be reflected in my behavior also. In that way, we can relate ourselves with the society. So, when we are speaking about integralism, it is not only philosophical, it is also social, it is also real living. This is my submission. Thank you, sir.
Yes, well said. Thank you. Thank you so much. So in the meantime, well, Radhanath sir wants to say something. Then we'll move to Vrindavan sir and all. Well, we have listened to Radhanath sir. Well, Vrindavan sir wants to say something. Let us invite him. Then we'll move to Radhanath sir. Well, Vrindavan sir is there. He wants to say something because he has put on his camera. Well, he wants to say something. Vrindavan sir, he wants to say something. Well, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
namaskar.
sir, please, sir, please, sir.
Am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
Both audible, visible, sir, both.
Namaskar to all. Kailash sir, really, you have explained the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo very nicely. After listening from Dr. Ghosh and Radhanath sir, Pramod sir, actually I have nothing to say more. Still then I am in doubt that we know that Sankhya concept of Purusha and Prakriti, Descartes' concept theory of mind and body relation, and we also know that the matter and spirit of Sri Aurobindo. And very nicely, Dr. Ghosh has explained that no dichotomy between mind and mind. The relation is just like dipolar, and transformation does not require at all. Okay. Then, as per the views of Sri Aurobindo, then matter is to be spiritualized. I am a little bit confused. But why? What will be spiritualized? Matter is equally important, like as the spirit is important. Then what is the transform? Why transformation is necessary? It is real. Mind is real. Matter is also real. These are the little bit confusion in my mind. Please explain. And
Well, I think it is from the materialization of spirit that is descending to spiritualization of the matter that is ascending. We can summarize it in that way. How would you say, Kolasu? What is this?
Very nicely, sir, you have observed, Dr. Ranjit sir. In Hindi, I can say, जब तक चित शक्ति जड़ शक्ति में अंतर्व्याप्त नहीं होती, तब तक जड़ से जीवन माने इवोल्यूशन का कार्य प्रारंभ नहीं होता. So this devolution takes place from the spiritual part of the world, life, to the matter part, and then the matter becomes spiritualized, and then the evolution takes place. That's why Aurobindo has said very categorically, first involution, then evolution. So this can be, you have just very nicely you have presented the thing. Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you, Vrindavan sir. Well, Avinash sir also very nice. Unless and until the evolution doesn't take place, unless and until the spiritual element doesn't enter the material part, there can be no evolution in the matter. So very beautifully said. Well, we move back to Radhana sir because he has raised his hand and he still wants to say something. Well, let us learn from him. Anything, sir, you wish to say? Yes, Radhana sir, please. You wish to say something? Sir.
Dr. Rao, it is by the sleight of hand I touched the symbol hand, but then since you have insisted that I speak a few words, let me speak it briefly. What is matter, what is mind? I was just touching upon the concept raised by the scientists. As you say, Swami Vivekananda said, matter cannot be amalgamated into matter, but spirit can be merged into spirit. We are spirits, so we can worship the higher spirit in the light of our spirit. Therefore, to drag Lord to the level of matter or to the level of an idol is just a blasphemy, and it has to be only concretized whenever spirit is there. Let us evolve ourselves, ascend ourselves to the spirit, and the grandeur of Sri Aurobindo's philosophy is that once we reach, or some of us reach, we have to descend it back to our earth. And we human beings must be prepared to receive it. After the passing away of Sri Aurobindo, the supramental spirit revolved round Sri Aurobindo's corpse, and only one person was able to see it, visualize it. She was the mother. Somebody said, why not the body decomposing if it is completely matter? The answer was, I will show you that Sri Aurobindo is a mixture of both matter and spirit. And actually, the whom she touched could see that there is a blue light encircling the body. Therefore, as long as the light was there, the body would not decompose. You see the greatness of spirit over body. Therefore, always think of the spirit. Body just a medium. Spirit is all pervasive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, Radhana sir. Well, anybody wishing to um, have a question or some suggestion or some observation, they are welcome. I'll wait for half a minute. Um, but then a small announcement for Satyam Sankar because he has presented a paper in the forum and I have sent him the book, but it has returned back. So I asked him to send his address so that I can send a copy of Philosophy Family. Anyway, so carrying the discussion forward, anybody who is interested to have a few words, we can move it. Otherwise, we can end up. So taking uh, what Brindavan sir said regarding matter and spirit. One thing that comes is matter and spirit both are real, but the only thing is the transformation is possible because matter belongs to a lower hemisphere and it is transforming to a higher form in the spirit. So both are real, nothing is unreal. So we don't have a Maya aspect the way we have in Advaita, but here the tangible is also taken as a real, and it is taken as the ground, it is taken as the basis for the evolution of the philosophy.
Dr. Maharana, can we react to
Yeah,
this?
okay. Actually, it's a good thing. Actually, I appreciate your observation. That's Sri Aurobindo philosophy. So you can look out the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo from any point of view, and from any perspective, and you can find an integralism that is in his perspective. So you can also find that is Kantian aspect in his philosophy. Thank you, sir.
Yes, well, may I request once again to have his point again clear, bit clear, because I could not get how to listen to you properly, sir. Professor Ghosh.
Yeah, the thing is that when in Aurobindo's framework, we try to bring the reality to both matter and spirit. So, can we not say that they are empirically real but transcendentally ideal? Because you see, unless you believe in transcendence, as I have referred few moments back, that then unless transcendence is accepted, then there will be no evolution into the higher consciousness, because transcendence from the empirical to the higher level of consciousness is possible. So they are empirically real and transcendentally ideal. This Kantian thing regarding space and time, can we apply this type of analogy to Aurobindo's philosophy? I have never read it, but this just came into me in a spur of moment. So that's why I asked that we have to, how Dr. Rao would react to this. Tell me.
Okay. So, well, sir, well, this is a beautiful connection that we can think of. Well, and through the discussion, um, uh, well, it is again a good thing that we can think of. Well, like we cannot comment directly that, well, these both matter and spirit, they are um, one thing, the transcend, the element of transcendence that we can see in Kant and also in Aurobindo, that can be the thread that we can take a parallel from both the views, and we can connect maybe. And I cannot comment with that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Any point on this, sir, please?
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Sri Aurobindo has never used the name of Kant in his philosophy, but the philosophy of posture philosophy that is has a great impact on Sri Aurobindo's perspective that he has written.
Anyway, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, one more area that we can explore.
Dr.
Yes,
Rao,
yes, sir.
my submission was
Yes,
there is a question of transcendence only for the ignorance. For the realized soul, there is no transcendence. For example, the transcendence area for my child is different from the transcendence area for my mind. So what is not experienced by us, that is transcendence for us. That means the more you experience, the more you increase your domain of transcendence. Therefore, we call someone as Mahapurusha, Siddha Purusha. Okay, so transcendence is a natural limitation of our epistemological ability. Something is not known yet, therefore it is transcendence for us. So that all the possibilities are the possibilities of a human mind. That mind can evolve to the higher level because it is itself is that. The same integral reality is understood through different stages of minds, through different types of interpretations, only because we cannot accommodate the total definition, the identity. Therefore, we are coming under different types of interpretations. So that is my submission. That when the mind is integral, then it cannot perceive the dualism, cannot act in the dualism order, and cannot behave. That entire character will be integral character. Purna. That is Purna. Purnanga. That is integral.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, the beautiful thing that
Has to think over. Dr. Moharana has to think over this because he is working on Aurobindo more and more. That what is the difference between integralism and transcendentalism? So,
Yes.
so that we can get the answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sri Aurobindo has clearly mentioned that integralism that is universal and it is also transcendental.
It is both. It is both. If it is either or,
It's
it is not
clearly
integral.
mentioned.
It is not
He has
either or.
clearly mentioned
It is
that
both. It is both.
whatever is integral, it is intrinsic force of the being, and it is universal, and it is also transcendental.
Right, sir,
Yes.
shunun.
Thank you.
Sir, Pramod sir.
Sir, Kauntu.
Sir, matter is matter Purnango, mind is Purnango. Both are Purnango. Then what is the transcendent matter? One is to be transcendent.
Now, the mind is not Purnanga.
We have to reach there. We have to be Purnanga. We are always incomplete. We are in a state of ignorance. Therefore, there is a question for a transcendence. I mean it very seriously. When you admit that there is a transcendent something going beyond science, then you should have that conviction. Yes, I subscribe to this type of thought. I am different from others. That is my point.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
So
thank
your
you,
mind
thank
is
you.
not my mind. Your mind is your world, your emotion, your love and affection, your responsibility. My mind is my world. So we are living in the same empirical world of same water, air, oxygen, etc. Many thousand types of psychological worlds. Therefore, there is a possibility of transformation. There is a possibility of education. Otherwise, mind cannot be educated if mind is not flexible, transferable. Mind is so subtle, it can be all-pervading. Can move faster than light and can also back to itself. That backing system is not there in science. It is spirituality, how mind can come back to me. If I am running after something else, then how that mind can back to me. That is self-realization. This is possible in spirituality. This is not possible in a scientific laboratory. Coming back to myself. So that mind can be involved in Maya, in this apparent world, and I am that Brahman. That realization is with Sri Aurobindo. Aurobindo says that there is no question of questions. There is no question of questions. because it is one, it is integral. There is no chance for contradiction. Satyam avadhitam. If something can badhita, something can contradict it, then it is not integralism. So that conviction is that with the Sri Aurobindo.
Yes, yes,
This
yes.
is
Another thing
not,
that
this is,
say,
yes.
another thing that Sri Aurobindo has told that ego is the bar and ego is the helper.
Ego is the bar.
That
Very nice.
ego,
Very nice.
yes, ego is the bar and ego is the helper. Okay, ego can make
And
hindrance
you
and
are
ego can.
nothing but your ego, sir. You are nothing but
Yes,
your ego. I am nothing but my ego. Ego means ignorance. You are with your ignorance and you create your own world and you are living in your own world. That is your creative world. Similarly, my ego is my ignorance, and out of that ignorance, I have created my imaginary world and I live in. That is the gap between man to man. But in nature, there is no gap between a tree and other animals. Human minds, there is gap because we can rationalize, we can doubt, we can ask questions, and we can, in positive sense, we want to transform. That I shall have my better version tomorrow, what I am today. This desire is also there in man because man is more conscious than other creatures. Man is a better possibility of expression of consciousness. Therefore, man can ask such questions, man can understand such questions, man can debate on these questions. Such possibilities are there for man. So that is a sign of a transformation. That is a sign of ascent, to go higher and higher, to be wider and wider, to be more active, to be more conscious. All these possibilities are the development of our sadhana. That is the result of our sadhana, spiritual sadhana. So, and I said, today I said a very beautiful line, but was not my preparation. I said, and that is, this is the first verse of Shiva Sankalpa Suktam, the nature of mind. I told that mind can go faster towards the outer world and its native state with the same speed. This second possibility is a philosophical possibility. It is a metaphysical possibility. It is a spiritual possibility. Science will not believe in this. That is my submission. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. A beautiful discussion. Thank you. Well, I too have learned a lot from this entire discussion. So everything, to my understanding, everything succumbs to the status of one's mind, where your mind is stationed at, closer to the matter or to the spirit. Both are real. As Professor Bose has pointed, they are not bipolar, they are dipolar. But what is the status of your mind? So it is the lower mind, or your mind has evolved to the level of a higher mind, or to the level of the illumined mind, or the intuitive mind, or the super mind. So where you are stationed, that depends. So one who has reached the status of a super mind, the Kantian distinction of phenomena and noumena may not be there. What Professor Bose has pointed out, there would be nothing called the thing in itself for a super illuminant, for a super mind. So this is how we can bring the connectivity. I think so. I don't know. The very idea of thing in itself, it stays as long as the mind is transforming from the lower mind to the status of the super mind. Once there is a transformation to that super mind, thing in itself merges. There is nothing called a thing in itself. Everything turns to one. So the thing in itself makes sense only when we are in the process of transformation. This is how I try to connect. I may be wrong, but still, this is how I feel at this moment, to bring a connectivity between Kant and Sri Aurobindo. And very beautiful. I took this very beautiful line from Professor Das. Well, your mind is your mind. When he says your mind is your mind, my mind is my mind, it means, it implies one thing: the status of your mind. Where is your transformation located at? As is your transformation, so is your connectivity to the matter or spirit, taking hand in hand. More are you towards the spirit, or more are you
Very
taking
nice,
towards
very
the
nice,
matter? So this is how
very
the
nice.
status of the mind defines your level of transformation, and it shows a path that we can be spirits, and we are of course spirits in the bodily form, and we are nothing but the spirits. So it depends on the level of
Very nice, very
consciousness
nice.
in the
Thank
mind.
you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this is my
Very nice.
understanding. Final lines. Thank you. Well, I think thank you, Professor Das, for and Professor Ranjit Ghosh, sir, Vrindavan, sir, Radhana, sir, too. Well, Shravani Mishra, she wants to say something. She has raised her hand. Well, she was traveling, but still she wants to say something. Well, welcome, madam. Please. Shravani, madam.
Perhaps she's traveling.
She's
Perhaps
traveling,
she's
but she has put her hand on. She wants to say something. Well, because a
No,
beautiful question she has
she
raised.
said that she can't speak because she's traveling.
Okay, but okay. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Well, because today Maharana sir, our coordinator, is